We're trying to get out of the Chesapeake, or out into the Chesapeake from Norfolk, and we tacked back and forth because the wind wasn't the right angle. We finally gave up, turned on the motor, and just nosed into it, but we lost our motor. And we've got a lot of wind. It's like 18 to 20. We are completely exposed. The Coast Guard has contacted us. You warm enough yet?
I thought the idea was, are we cool enough yet? No, we got to keep going north, apparently. 98 degrees today.
Oh, but we got the laundry done. Denali's riding because the concrete's too hot for her little paws.
Yep. And we forgot her leash. So she's got a dinghy lanyard hooked to her.
It has been crazy hot here today. Like, I don't know, it's like 98 degrees, and that means it's like 100 degrees in this boat. We went and did laundry this morning. We did dishes, took a nap, had a shower. Like, it's a crazy, amazing, slow-paced life, and it's exactly what I want. So Todd rescued a log out of the channel because he's like that, and now we have to figure out what to do with it. We're thinking we're gonna go tie it up to the end of their pier and call this marina and tell them to find somebody to deal with it. So we don't want to leave our nice dinghy line, so we've got a sacrificial piece. Alright, so this is what we did yesterday. We're going to do it again today. It's dinghy up to this corner and leave the dinghy here. We have to walk about a mile and a half to the grocery store today. It's not as hot as it was yesterday, which is a blessing. And we're planning on getting some fuel to top off before we leave tomorrow. We got our Amazon packages. We're filling up our fuel. So we're here at the Wawa. That is a nice feature of Amazon, is finding a place that you can pick up. All right, your turn, puppy.
Come here.
The thing that we don't know is how long we're going to be offshore. So from here to Cape May should take us about 30 hours if we can average 5 knots. We don't know what we're gonna get. We could be faster, we could be slower. Then we could keep going if the weather cooperates, either getting into New York Harbor or getting all the way over to Block Island. We just want to be prepared so that we can just keep going if the weather cooperates. I mean, this lifestyle is just, you just don't know, and you have to be prepared for whatever happens. We want to leave tomorrow morning, but we could get up in the morning and it could be terrible and we could be like, no, we're not going. Being flexible is the only way to live this life. Got the groceries put away, and Todd is working on getting all of our water jugs emptied into our water, because why? The weight is better.
Weight is better, lower than higher on the deck.
Todd's getting ready to do that. I am going to work on a YouTube video. We have a bunch of cooking to do before we take off. What else do we need to do? We need to take down the sunshades, put on our, what are those yellow things called?
Submarine, yellow submarine. Our jack lines? Our
jack lines. We need to put on our jack lines, get out the offshore life vests and tethers, just batten everything down. We're gonna try to stay within 10 miles of the coast, but the wind tomorrow might mean we have to go further out and then tack back in.
All right, get moving. You got ship to do.
This is what we're going to do for our passage food. We got a rotisserie chicken. We're gonna cut that up. We're gonna cook some steaks and slice that up because that will be easy to eat cold. I'm gonna make some chicken salad and some tuna salad. Cut up veggies like celery and carrots and cucumbers. We've got cheese and sausage, granola and frozen berries and eggs. If it's calm and everything's easy, then we can actually cook. Like, that's the problem with passages. You never know exactly what you're gonna get. I did buy Pop-Tarts. But the last offshore passage that we had, I was really not feeling well, and that was the only thing that was okay on my tummy.
There's kind of our sunset for Norfolk. What do you think, babe? Talk really loud.
It's been beautiful, but it was hot yesterday. It's time to get out of here.
Yep. This is what you don't want barreling down behind you when you're in a sailboat doing 3.5 knots.
Alright, I've got tugs everywhere. That guy is coming towards us. This guy is over here. And somewhere out here, there is a submarine that we're not supposed to cross in front of, which is just kind of ridiculous to even try and figure out. Been a little sporty this morning.
Yeah.
Going like 8 knots coming out of Norfolk.
15 knots of wind, pretty consistent with all 3 sails up in a channel with traffic is a little sporty.
A little stressful.
Yeah. Right now we're running with just the main up with 1 reef in it and the mizzen, because we're dealing with this submarine and we're going to be turning nose into it in a minute, so who knows. We're trying to find the submarine. They don't really want us to know where it is, but by dang, we better not cross anywhere near it or they'll shoot us.
Yeah. Not ready to tack.
Bear off a little bit, pick up a little speed, and then crank it around.
As we turned to head out into the Chesapeake Bay, the winds and the waves were on our nose, and they were much stronger and bigger than predicted.
But don't depower until you've made your turn.
We had also failed to take into account how strong the current gets crossing the Hamilton Tunnel, and it was coming against us also. We had set a goal to sail as much as possible, so we started tacking back and forth across the channel, short tacking to avoid barges and tankers. Eventually, our tacks got closer and closer together until we were not making any forward progress.
I have to do it one more time to get this guy out of the way. Okay, you're not going to hit him. He's going to go past you before you even come close.
I need to tack. I'm going backwards.
Don't tack yet.
Hey, in order to keep it at 40 degrees, I am actually going backwards.
Here. We need the sea room to make the next tack, which is where you gain it all back.
Are you yelling at me?
Well.
Then we were forced to take down the sails and motor into the wind. It was slow going. We've lost our motor, so we were trying to get out of the Chesapeake, or out into the Chesapeake from Norfolk, and we tacked back and forth because the wind wasn't the right angle. We finally gave up, turned on the motor, and just nosed into it, but we lost our motor. We don't know what's wrong. Todd's downstairs trying to fix it. So we are turned around, headed back into Norfolk because, well, Todd's trying to work on it, and this is the wind angle that I can sail. So I'm just got a big old boat in front of me. I got to figure out. This is just really crazy scary. Okay, we're trying to anchor. We're in Hampton Flats, which is not an anchorage and totally exposed, but it's like 9 feet of water. So we're hoping that we can anchor and figure out what's wrong. Okay, we've anchored, and we've got a lot of wind. It's like 18 to 20. We are completely exposed, but we're anchored. The Coast Guard has contacted us. It's okay, we're safe. It may not be comfortable here, but in theory we can put out all of our chain and we shouldn't go anywhere. It says the bottom is sand. Todd's on the phone with Electric Yacht to try and figure out what happened and how to fix it. We don't really have, we're not close to anything to go get any parts if we need them, but we have Towboat, so if it comes to it, we can have them haul us somewhere.
Sounds great.
Oh, very stressful. But we did good. The minute that we noticed there was a problem, we got the head sail up. We turned around so that we had good wind. Identified a place that we could get into shallow enough water. Rolled up the head sail, turned into the wind, then rolled up the head sail and dropped the anchor. So
let's see. If I turn the key on, the display is reading 52.86 volts.
looks really nice. Like, wouldn't be so bad if I knew my motor was working. It's a little bouncy, but we've had worse. Puppy's chilling. At least we're not dying of heat, right?
So, key on, reverse. Yeah. Alright, so 74 RPM. It's not a ton of RPMs. Okay, now I got 500 RPMs. You caught me in the middle of making a soda. I figured I needed some
sugar.
Sugar, you know. So, I mean, it's not 100% known right now, but what it looks like is that we have one of the motor controllers has got a fault. So what that is, we don't know yet. Scott was going to have me ship it back to him so that he could check it out. It could be bad, which is rare. Because our motor is a 30 kilowatt system and it has two 15 kilowatt motors, essentially I just pull one motor out of service and we run on the other one. So we don't have as much power as we had before, but we still have a motor. And then he'll check out our controller and let us know whether it needs to be replaced or whether it can be repaired or what.
Oh my gosh, you guys. This would not, I mean, it happened where we had enough sea room to put up the sails and safely get somewhere that we could put down the anchor. We're so grateful for Mantis anchors that just like do what they're supposed to do. But we've still got, we need to get somewhere safer, probably back to the Anchorage we were just at. And that's going to, we think we can get there with the sails. And there's no way, the winds are blowing 18 to 20 right now, steady, that we could do that with half our motor. The closest place is Hampton, but we can't get there because it's straight into the wind and we just don't have the power to do that. So if we can get back to Hospital Point, the first little bit crossing There's like 3 channels that come together, just kind of crazy right here. We have to get across that with almost like 40 degrees, 40 or 50 degrees off the wind. That's gonna be the hard part.
Right here.
Right here. But we're waiting for a tanker to finish moving around because we don't want to fight that too.
So we need to give ourselves a little bit of kudos here because we just anchored without a motor using our sails in 20 knots of wind.
It actually wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, there was nothing to run into.
Not anything we could run into, so.
There are some crab pots.
Oh yeah.
That we have to watch out for leaving.
Damn crab pots. I mean, darn crab pots.
We ended up on the Coast Guard's radar because there was a barge crossing my bow, and I had to hail him and tell him I had limited maneuverability, that we'd lost our motor and we're on sails only, and I couldn't get out of his way. And so
well, you were pretty much dead downwind, right?
Yeah, so. Like I just had limited options. So he got out of our way, and then the Coast Guard called and said, "Hello, what's wrong? Can we help you?" Which was really nice to know that they were right there. I'm glad we didn't need them.
Poor Cito. Cito, you got off the hook today again.
We are not back safe yet.
Oh boy, find some wood to knock on. It's everywhere.
But yeah, they took our phone number and they've called us twice now to double check where we're at and what's going on and are we safe.
Their main concern was, do you have life jackets? Yes. Do you have food and water? Yes. Do you have cell phone? Yes. Do you have the ability to recharge it? Yes. Do you have an anchor? Yes. Okay. Let us know if you need anything. I mean, that's the way it went.
Yeah, so. But we are 10 miles. We gotta get 10 miles. We can do this.
Let's go.
As we're trying to raise the anchor, the winds are still blowing 18 to 20 knots, and I have to motor forward to take the pressure off the anchor in order to bring it up. As the anchor comes loose, the wind starts blowing off the bow, and the single 15 kilowatt motor is not strong enough for these winds. We need to get the sails up. The angle of the wind is 35 to 40 degrees off of the front of the boat, which is making progress very slow. We are also being blown to our starboard side, which is putting us on a collision course with the large anchored tanker ahead of us. We've also just noticed that there is another tanker headed in towards Norfolk that we're going to need to avoid. This was a lot of stress. We made it across the river. We had to tack once and wait for 2 big boats. I am just rattled. So looking at the wind and what it's doing, we can get almost up to Hospital Point, but there's a point at which the wind will be on our nose again, and we just don't have the power in this wind. It's still gusting 18 to 20. So we called Towboat. We do have Towboat insurance. Yay! And they'll be here in half an hour, and I told them we're just gonna keep trudging forward and they'll catch up with us when they do. He sounded really nice. I almost cried. That was crazy stressful, guys. Everything's safe. We're safe. Nobody's going to die, even if like our boat went aground and ran into something. Yeah, it's a lot. It's like your whole house is floating out here. Everything you own. And then it's not working right. We do not want to hit this buoy out here, and we keep getting blown that direction. Are you falling off too soon? Oh.
Nope.
So, what kind of wind angle have we got now?
85 degree wind angle, winds dropped to 12.5.
Yay!
Now we're going 5 knots.
Right?
Reefed head sail and the mizzen up.
We have never used Towboat before. We're not sure like what this looks like because the wind is still blowing. We are working our way up to the high side of the channel so that if when we stop and try and hook up and stuff, we're getting blown, we'll have room to be blown back into the channel instead of out of the channel. Well, the waves have calmed down. And the wind, what did you say our wind is now?
8.
8?
Because we're obstructed.
Yes.
Still
So,
doing 3.7 knots though.
which is good, but when we turn, it's going to be a problem, huh? Which is why we called Towboat. Alright, Towboat showed up. They are towing us. How fast are we going?
Well, now we're going 5.2. We've been up to 5.8. We need to tip the towboat guy.
We don't have any cash.
I have some cash.
Do you? Well, you probably should tip the Towboat guy.
12.1 knots of wind, 25 degree angle. So not saleable for us.
We could not have made it up here by ourselves.
No.
Hello, puppy. Hello. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah, you're trying to come over here? Yeah. Okay, we're anchored again. I'm exhausted, you guys. But Towboat was great. They side-tied us. I didn't want to video him. We try to respect people's privacy. But they side-tied us and brought us in, helped us set the anchor. We just set it one more time just to be sure. It's hard when you don't know like what exactly they're pulling on it. We don't have the same kind of power that we normally do, but he did it and then we did it, and so we feel like we hope that it's good. He was like, this Anchorage is notorious for dragging. We're like, oh. Denali is as tired as I am. But we're back in our safe, calm Anchorage. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna hang out here for a little while, send the part back to Electric Yacht, and then we will find out what comes next. Whether it can be fixed, whether it's something simple, or whether we have to replace the whole thing.